Hey, my beautiful people. Welcome to a new episode of the Be Original Show on WBDY 99.5 FM Bundy Museum Community Radio. I'm your host, Kevin Oriol, aka DJ KO Yo, and we are broadcasting from Binghamton, New York, locally and streaming online at bundymuseum.org/WBDY. The Be Original Show features local Binghamton musicians, bands, producers, and artists that primarily create their own music or what we call originals. Tonight, we have a band whose sound incorporates indie rock, R&B, soul, funk, and pop, what I would call shoegaze music, but they call themselves Grown Ups. Yes, tonight we have Mike and Oliver from the Binghamton-based band Grown Ups. Let's get a taste of the band's sound by listening to one of their tracks entitled Tightrope Player, right here on the Bundy Museum Community Radio Show, Be Original.
Can I propose?
That was Tightrope Player by the band Grown Ups. You're listening to WBDY 99.5 FM. Hello, guys. What's up?
How's it going, Kevin?
Hello.
It's going pretty good. Why don't you introduce yourself for the folks at home?
I'm Oliver. Play rhythm guitar, lead guitar, and sing vocals in Grown Ups.
Nice.
And I'm Micha. I play drums in Grown Ups.
Very, very cool. So you guys have been around at least since 2022 because you put out your album Nightlight.
Yes.
And just let us know how the band formed.
This is the Kevin Cobra story as it becomes known for
true.
being. Yeah. So both Oliver and I were at a show at a friend's house, basement show, Kevin Cobra, and it was in between bands, and we were kind of hanging out outside, and I believe Kevin was talking to Oliver. Oliver was mentioning that he was writing some songs and looking to start a band and looking for a drummer specifically, and Kevin turned like 180 degrees and pointed at me and said, "That's a drummer." And that's how I met Oliver and decided to start jamming. I don't even remember what year that was, actually.
It was at least 1 or 2 years before we put the album out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Definitely.
Yeah. So I had started playing music with like an old childhood friend of mine named Kit, who was teaching music at Seton Catholic. And during the pandemic, we really hunkered down, the two of us, and he's a singer-songwriter too, and we started making songs together, and then, connected with Mike, and that's when we really started to put some songs together.
The songs that were that you created during the pandemic, those songs became the album.
Yes.
Nightlight.
Yeah.
So, did you have a certain sound that you're going for? Like, how did because you have, let's backtrack. You have a lot of different influences in the music. You can hear pop, you can hear, the indie rock, you can hear alternative. And I hope you guys didn't get offended when I called it shoegaze.
Not at all.
No.
Because it has a very dreamy kind of aspect with your vocals and the melodies. So it's quite beautiful. But so were you going for a specific sound during that time?
That's never how I made music. I've been in bands since I was a kid, since I was in high school. I'm 33 now. And I always just liked playing music, and stuff I played that felt good and sounded good to me is what I went for. And I've always been in bands with at least one other principal singer-songwriter. So my friend Kit, I think, would you agree, Mike, he really aims towards sounds a little more intentionally.
Very much, yeah, I would definitely agree. I think Kit would agree also.
Yeah.
When Kit writes a song, he kind of gets an idea of how that song should sound, and then he firmly plants his foot in that sound. So if he's going to write a blues song, it's going to sound like a blues song.
Mm-hmm.
If he's going to write like a Elton John-esque song, it's going to sound like that. And as just like a listener and hearing grown-ups throughout the years, I can definitely hear when Kit writes a song and when Oliver writes a song. They're kind of two different styles of writing.
Now, is Kit still in the band or no?
He's not in the band. Sadly, he moved to Florida.
Oh, damn.
So we're recording I know.
What's Florida got over Binghamton?
We're still trying to figure it out, honestly.
The love of his life.
The love of his life. That is exactly what Florida
We
has.
just proposed to. He went down there for this
All right.
this woman that he's with.
Yes.
Shout out to Kit, but
Shout out to Kit.
we'll let him go.
Yes, sadly.
So who else is in the band?
Oh boy. Okay. It started as the 3-piece: Kit, Oliver, and me, Micha, and then we did one album, and shortly after that album started bringing a gentleman named Chris James into the whole mix.
And he plays.
Chris plays guitar.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we were a 4-piece for most of album 2.
Yes.
And then kind of towards the end of, I would say, recording album 2, we started to bring in some horns. I knew a gentleman named Justin Miller who plays trombone, and he introduced us to another trumpet player as well as a saxophone player, Tim O'Brien, who plays saxophone. And
No, trumpet.
Thank you. Tim O'Brien plays trumpet, and Paul plays saxophone.
Oh, yeah, Paul McDonald. I
Paul
forgot.
McDonald, yep, was the first saxophone player. Yeah,
It was, right.
Grown-Ups, yeah.
Now, was that on the first album?
On the second album.
On the second album?
Yep, that would
Yeah.
be the second album. Yep.
Nice.
And the second album, we didn't really intend to have horns on it when we kind of started writing it. It kind of came to be halfway through the recording process. We were thinking about what could help flesh these songs out, and that's when we reached out to Justin Miller, and they wrote some horn parts to the stuff that we had actually already written.
Or did he approach us?
He might have approached us. He might have actually.
I thought he said, like, you guys would sound good with horns.
And he might have, honestly. I think at one point I remember him telling us that he had been wanting to write horn parts for some of our songs, like not even really knowing this, and that was such a lovely thing from, by Justin. But yeah, so that's kind of when we linked up with the 3-horn section. Was in the middle of album 2. And was that kind of around the same time that Devin came in?
It sounds right.
think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I think we never had designs to make a big band, but it has become a big band.
So at its full peak, like how many guys?
11,
or
I
girls?
think?
I think so. Okay.
That's an
there's-
orchestra,
Yeah, it's getting there. Yeah.
but it must sound amazing.
It's a like power move, and also it's tough. It's a lot of people in the room at the same time. Rehearsals can get it can get to be kind of like a party because we get that many people in a room, and it kind of just becomes a
We're
hang.
all chatting with each other.
Exactly, we all
But
want to catch up.
I'm sure that when the music is really, when you're vibing, it's a beautiful kind of thing. I can imagine, like
100%.
when it's happening,
Yes.
it's like oof,
And kind of connecting to what you were saying before about it having an eclectic feel, I think that's a power and a weakness for us at some moments in terms of instrumentation. We run the band often like pretty democratically too. Everyone's so talented. Everyone just like writes their parts for the songs that I or Kit used to bring to the table. So it's a challenge in that I'm not writing classic horn songs like a
Right.
funk tune, and the horns kind of know what they should do.
Right.
So that can make practices even more chaotic sometimes when you got a bunch of people trying to figure out what the sound should be. But also to your point, those moments when it clicks and there's a line that fits on the song, it's an amazing moment.
Now, who played piano on the first album?
That's Kit.
That would be Kit.
That's
Yeah.
Kit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was just listening to Rabbit Run,
Yes.
and I was like, oh, there's a piano. Who's playing piano there?
Yes. So former local music teacher Kit was
Wonderful.
a multi-instrumentalist.
Yes.
So I've got that one queued up next. Should we play it?
Yes, let's do it.
All right, awesome. This
Hear a
is
little Kit piano in there.
all right. Listen for Kit. This is Rabbit Run by the band Grown Ups, and this is WBDY 99.5 FM. Be original. That's a really funky track,
Thank you, man.
I dig it.
Thank you.
for sure.
Yeah. That's a nice bass groove. Kit wrote that bass groove, I'm pretty sure. Or are you on bass on that?
Kit's on bass
Kit's
on
on
that.
bass on
I'd
that.
still like to take credit for the groove. And no, it's probably Kit.
Kit's not here. I think that was you.
Sure, it must have been, right?
So the music, when I first listened to it, it almost felt as if it was the time right before disco, maybe. How it was like very melody driven, very
Yes.
pop, but not super overpowering. Tasty drums.
Thank you.
And then just like these different funk lines and the the wicked wicked wick on the guitar. So it just kind of gave me that like that soul R&B feel. But then it's almost like a little theatrical because like you're not just playing straight 4/4.
Yeah.
You're really working with the vocals and
Yes.
yeah. So what's your approach to like when you get a song and you start writing it and these things have certain changes, it kind of like what's your approach on playing on that?
I mean, most of the time, it's Oliver kept bringing, a mostly fleshed out song. And I guess in the past, I think it was maybe a year or two ago, I realized that I tend to when I write drums, my rhythms tend to come from the vocals for some reason. I just listen so intently to the vocals, so I kind of take rhythms and cadence from the vocals. So that's kind of, and just, a lot of it is improvising. Just if I start playing something and it feels good, then I'll ride with it until maybe I feel like it should be tweaked or changed in some way. Kind of just trying to. I often listen quite intently while playing, so I'm trying to write drums to mostly the rhythm guitar and vocals. That's usually my approach.
I just started listening to your music like 2 weeks ago in my car, just playing it, vibing on it. I don't remember the song. It starts off, maybe it's off the new record, but it starts off like kind of mellow, and then at the end there's like this build, and you're kind of you're soloing at the end of that.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate that kind of build, and like it's just really tasty.
Oh, thank you very much.
As playing.
Honestly, I'm not used to like the music that I grew up on listening to and playing has been a lot of punk and rock and metal. So I'm not so used to like having solo sections or like a band coming to me and saying, I think this section would work well for a drum solo. But it was something in the first album, I think with a 3-piece, we were trying to find ways to make it exciting, to kind of fill the space as much as we can just with 3 people. So to do that, we were kind of throwing out ideas of having solo sections, and I can't remember what song it is, but I know which one you're talking
Friendship, you definitely
Oh,
do on
yes.
the first record.
Yes, yeah.
And it gets
at
pretty
the end,
big
it kind
there.
of absolutely. And that's off the
The first record.
The first record.
I think it might be the
okay.
last song on the first record.
I think
Yes,
you're right.
you're right.
Yeah.
Now, with your writing, Oliver, are you writing? Is this personal? Because sometimes it feels like what I've heard. It sounds as if you're giving advice to yourself, and then maybe other times you're talking to someone. Like, let's specifically just. I know we want to get to the new stuff, but for the first album, like. For those lyrics, where was your head with, as far as the content of the songs?
Yeah. I have worked really hard the last couple of years to try to develop my lyrics a lot. I think in the past, when I was, in high school bands or in college bands even, it was more kind of like hiding in vagaries and sort of philosophical musings or like advice to myself type of thing. And starting with our first record, Nightlight, I tried to find more of a subject or a character or something that felt like it was inspiring and just opened up a bunch of ideas for me. So, for example, Rabbit Run, the track we just listened to, that's a novel. There's a novel called Rabbit Run by this author, John Updike. And I was, just had the rhythm for it. And I felt like, okay, this feels kind of like angsty and like it's got some attitude to it. And then I remembered this character in this story that feels like he's kind of like working through some stuff. And so I thought of him and thought of how to turn his story into a song. But I heard some line that I always think about that said, every portrait's a self-portrait. And I think, even though I like a lot trying to find other people to tell them a moment of their life, whether they're real or not, it's because I connect with their stories and identify with them.
Mike, you said something about space, and it made me think about your covers.
Yes.
So both of the covers are really interesting. So the first cover, people need to go on Spotify, or where are you?
On all the streaming
On all the
platforms.
streams,
Yeah.
and check out Grown Ups,
Yes.
just Grown Ups. And the first record is a space scene, and then like there's a schoolie, kind of like a converted school bus, and you guys are
Yeah.
fixing the engine. That definitely caught my attention. I'm like, okay, wait, what's going on? So
Yes,
what was
thanks
the
for noticing that.
What was the concept? And the second album, we'll get there.
Yes.
But so what was the concept for that first album cover?
So we wrote the songs, had them all arranged, and then I think we even came up with a title for the album. And then at that point, we were ready to start looking for some visual aspects to pair with these songs and the album. And Oliver and Kit, I think they were aware ahead of time, but maybe just recently at that point had seen some collage work that I've made. So I make surreal collages from like Nat Geo magazines and portrait books. So they're physical collages that I hand cut. And so I was telling them about that, and we kind of started throwing out ideas to pair with this album. And as we were doing that, we were flipping through all of the collages that I'd made at that point, and we kind of came across this collage and felt that it worked really well with a lot of the songs on the album. Just the idea of like being broke down and having this hard time, but clearly being on a journey with, this converted school bus. And there was 3 people in the image, so it worked well with Oliver, Kit, and I, the 3 of us on this journey together. And so it kind of it seemed to fit with a lot of the themes, so we ended up using that collage
It's
for
very
the
cool.
album cover.
And why don't we play another song from that record? Some Other Place. Can you say a little bit about what that song is about?
Please do.
I guess this one is a little bit more personal and not about someone else. This one's, more autobiographical, but just about trying to connect with someone, trying to find some intimacy with someone, and then wondering if it's going to happen maybe where you are or some other place.
Very, very cool. This is Some Other Place by the Grown Ups on WBDY Be Original.
Running away, it just makes it worse, but it feels so good, and sometimes it works. Well, it's easy, just close your eyes and say goodbye. Don't you hold so tight, because good vibrations tremble with me. Yeah, maybe if we try, we'll feel the same thing. Got a hole in your bucket, I've got one too. Well, what can we do? We pour the water through. What can we do? Oh, we pour the water through. Oh, what can we do? Won't you fly me to some brand new place? I swear I won't let the bumps make me shake. Sitting by myself, I'm watching you. I've been nursing my hurt. It feels kinda good. I've been dreaming of castles that burn down my shack. Well, I got no plan. Been sleeping out back. It's a little bit cold, so I build a fire. Got smoke in my eyes, but quench my desire. I wanna climb a mountain, this hill won't do. So I sit by the river, I watch the water move. Sit by the river, oh, I watch the water move. Yeah, sit by the river, oh.
Hey, if you're just joining us, you are listening to Be Original, and we have the grown-ups in our studio. So I'm excited to talk about the new album, but we need to talk a little bit about the second album. It was Big Lies. Great Big Lies. So
Yes.
the first track really grabbed me because the first track, it sounded almost like a Quentin Tarantino Western, like the music behind it. It was like kind of like this weird vibe. And then it goes prog rock. And then and then it changes again. It gets this groove. I mean, was that song intentional to put first to kind of, I don't know, let people know, what the band is about, even though it's not one singular thing?
It was definitely a choice to put that song first. We thought, I'm so proud of this album. I was saying to my little brother, who's like one of my music confidants, like, bro, our first album, that was good, but this one's like, level up, dude. And I think it really is in many, many ways. We have beautiful artwork, again, by Micha, but it was more collaborative there. And this song we chose to start the album with because, in large part, because of the intro. It's got this big, loud, theatrical intro, so we just wanted to grab people's attention and make it huge.
Mission
exciting.
Accomplished.
Yes, okay, yeah. And a lot of our work, I think, is trying to play live and trying to make just exciting live shows.
That's a really interesting point. I wanted to ask you about the recording process because it is not overproduced, and that's what kind of gave me the idea of going back, like when I said that comment about it being kind of like before disco, like a real pure recording experience. Like the drums are tight, and everything sounds good, but it's kind of bare bones. So, and that kind of went on into the second record as well, although the bass sounds really like that.
Yes.
Yeah. So where did you record that?
So
Did you use a producer or self-record?
So yeah, I run a recording studio in Johnson City called Abandoned Studios. I've been in the space that I'm in currently for about 8 years, and I went to school for recording in Oneonta. Grew up in JC, came back here, got married, and started the studio. It really kind of fell into my lap. Extremely grateful to be able to use this space to record. So yeah, I'm talking about the two different albums. The first album was recorded live all together in the room. So it was basically drums, guitar, and bass all recorded performing together at the same time. So it has kind of a different vibe in that way. You can kind of feel the energy a little bit. The performances might not be as tight as they were in the second album. So pairing that, the second album was recorded to a click from the ground up, starting with drums, then bass, then guitar, then vocals, just kind of adding on as we went. So it kind of allowed us to be a little bit more selective with the way things sounded, crafting the guitar tones a little bit more, definitely the bass tones more. The drums sound a little bit different. The drums in the first album were a little more roomy, kind of more of a live sound.
The snare was kind of really live.
Really roomy, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the space that I have is a old spool manufacturing building.
Nice.
And so it's it's wood floors, I think 25 foot ceilings, insulated. So it's a huge room. You can get a really big bombastic drum sound. So that was kind of what I did with the first album. The second album, a little bit more tighter, a little bit more concise sound-wise. So yeah, we recorded, mixed both of those albums at Abandoned. The second album was mastered by Matt Ebers, who's another local musician and producer.
Sweet. Yeah, because the both records, they kind of sounded alike, but the second one sounded bigger.
Yes.
And definitely a little bit more tight. That's great. Now, you've had some guest appearances. Did Kylie Cornwell, is that?
Yep.
She perform? She performed on the first album. Did she
Yes.
do a track on the second album?
Nope.
No, she did.
No Way to Live.
No Way to Live. Thank you. I want
Yes.
to say Leave It Alone. Yeah, No Way to Live on the first album. And she was phenomenal on that.
Oh my God,
song.
amazing vocalist.
And honestly, we've tried to play it before, but nobody wants to sing it. Everyone was like, that's such a great song.
But then Moonshine, who sings Moonshine?
That's another local female vocalist named Alyssa Crosby.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Another just crazy talent.
Yeah.
Like, again, like, starting from
Makes
the
me want to
three-piece-
quit singing.
Honestly.
It just adds to it. It's just, you know.
No,
like-
I'm just being self-deprecating. She is unbelievable.
She's unbelievable.
Yeah.
yeah, it's just so cool that you have like different people coming in, and that's just a testament to the music, that the core of the music is really good songs.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I would very much agree. There's been so spoiled, I feel like, the songs that have been coming to the plate of grown-ups, the songs that have been being written, and then we get a chance to develop.
I think also though, like giving credit to ourselves, the band's called Grown Ups, tongue in cheek. We're kind of making fun of ourselves and like, are we grown ups? Are we not? But a lot of the success has come because we're adults and we all have day jobs and we're all love making music and we know we want to do that, and we come every Thursday night to the studio and we're on top of what we're doing too. We like to have fun, but like I think we communicate well, and I think that makes it a easier space for other people to come in on that. You know what I mean?
It's together.
Guest appearances, this larger ensemble too. It's a lot of work, but we can manage it because of our approach, I think.
Awesome. Let's play the
Time's
track
Enough.
Time's Enough.
Yes.
Yeah. And then I want to get to the spoken word stuff.
Cool.
All right. You are listening to the Grown Ups on The Original on WBDY 99.5 FM. This is their track of their second album, their first lead track called Time's Enough. Check this out.
Shadows moving, faces watching every street. Some power walking, and I'm just trying to get back home. Hold my keys tight, and I could fight them if I need. Ask me, what do you want, son? Just give me something, help me believe. Throw our lives away for a moment. We can't kill, and now I'm staring right at the wall, and I'm biting my nails, and it's starting to crawl. Hide your eyes, we're seeing too much in the light. Ask me, we're going too fast, we're going all the way tonight. 'Cause now's the moment, a part of me has got to leave. But I see you clearly now. You're not who I thought you'd be. Throw our lives away for a moment. We can't kill, but now I'm staring right at the walls, and I'm biting my nails. Things starting to crawl. So hungry to feel something new. Don't know the price you have to pay. And I should have listened to my father. 'Cause time's enough to make things change. Hungry to feel something new. Don't know the price you have to pay. I should have listened to my father. It's time enough to make things change, change, change.
love those guitars. They're like I don't know. It's
those
proggy
dueling
Yes.
riffs.
Yeah, it's great.
I know.
That's all Kit, man. He wrote that.
Well, that was one of those collab songs, I think, right?
Yeah, he wrote the chords and the riffs, and I wrote the vocals on this one. Yeah, which is unusual for us.
Now,
Usually,
when you play live, do you do? Does anybody else does harmonies?
when Kit was in the band, he did harmonies.
Yeah.
Now our bass player Reeve and our trumpet player Tim sing back up.
Jump on and
Yeah.
jump back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so spoken word on the album. Is it? I was trying to make sense of it.
Yeah.
Does it all flow together? Is it one story like a Kendrick Lamar thing, or is it random? Were there edibles being consumed? What's going on? Let's tell the story.
Well, at this time, marijuana was not legal in New York, so there were no edibles involved.
That's right.
in the ideas for this music. I don't know. We were looking for a way to try and tie a lot of the themes that were in some of the songs together. And I think, like Oliver mentioned earlier, we're kind of just always trying to think of new ways to make it more interesting, whether it be the music, the live show, the writing, just trying to find new ways to approach it. And one of the ideas I think we had was to basically put together a series of questions that we would ask friends and family members. So we each went off and did some like little interviews with friends and family members about certain subjects, and then we listened back to them and listened to see if there was anything that could be used to help maybe lead into the next song or come out of a previous song.
And I just want to plug Tom Joe Lou, another local musician and band. I saw them do an album release show actually here at the Bundy, and was very inspired by them. They actually had Justin Miller playing horn with them that night, but they also just had this, for me, kind of like next level show for a local band especially. They had some audio clips that they played that were nestled in these songs that they were playing live, and I was just so excited by that and by their show in general, and just building on what Mike was just saying. Seeing them do that and then just putting so much time into our album, we were both hoping that by conducting these interviews and then taking some snippets from them and weaving them into the album, that it would just elevate it and make it feel like a movie or a whole book or like a whole experience you're walking through.
That I think you nailed it right on the head. It gives it, again, that dreamlike quality. I find when I'm listening to the music, I'm listening to as a musician first and listening to the parts and the music, and then I start listening to the lyrics, and then I kind of drift off and like start thinking of maybe a past memory, or then something. Then the spoken word comes, and then I start thinking about my grandma, and it's like you just said, it's an experience.
Yeah,
It's really
that's lovely. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, it's kind of what we were hoping for. That it would just, even give you a break from the music for a minute to just think about. You start tying your memories to whatever these interviews are talking about. You start thinking about your own, life, your own thoughts, and then the music's back, and it's like, okay, here we go, we're back to having some fun.
and then it kind of changes just a little bit, so you're definitely interested. You have some humor in your writing. Missed Again.
Yes, that's a Kit song.
Yes,
That's another very clever tune.
Yeah, thank you. We miss him so much because he was such a good foil for our seriousness. I think especially me as a songwriter, I'm so drawn to heavy topics of introspection and loss and intimacy and dealing with that in a very dreamy, sensitive, thoughtful way. And Kit he would always just jab us in the chest, and we get kind of annoyed at him, but then we giggle, and then he writes great songs. But yeah, I always felt brought a lightness.
Yeah, he's kind of a cheeky,
in many ways.
He's kind of a cheeky fellow.
Totally.
Always kind of, when he's one of those people you can always expect that if he's around, you're going to have some laughs. It's going to be a pretty good time.
That's great.
Which, just like Oliver was saying, I also like delving into heady topics, talking with friends and stuff like that. And Kit's always the person to help you bring some levity to it.
Totally.
So, yeah.
Oh God, guys, please.
Exactly. So we shipped him off to Florida. Is what we did.
Exactly. Dang, we should have had one of his tracks primed here, though. These are all songs that I'm singing lead vocals on because that's kind of like where the band is now. But we should have played that one. Yeah.
What about the title track of the album, Great Big Lies?
Yes. What about it?
Well, it's a banger. It's
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. It's I found it like really a big jamming track.
Yes.
Was it written about someone?
I guess I'm a liar because this one is pretty personal too, but not as specific personal about a certain topic, but kind of riffing on the whole like grown-ups idea too. Great Big Lies, the thinking was, what's your mindset when you're a kid and what lies do you tell, and what's your mindset when you're a grown-up and maybe a parent, and what lies do you tell? And in the first verse, a kid is sneaking out of their parents' house to go find something, some friends, a party, something. And then in the second verse, a parent is tucking their kid in to go to bed, but kind of thinking about like, am I kind of telling them the whole story, or do I need to cover up some truth for them? Yeah.
I would say that song had a lot to do. I feel like when we were thinking about questions to ask people during these interviews, that song for some reason kept coming up. I don't know why. I can't remember why, but yeah, there was something about the idea of Great Big Lies, the song title, the song lyrics in general, that kind of cut to the heart of what we were feeling like musically and about the subject matter in that album. So it kind of felt natural to have that song be the album title also.
It's a great song. That's a great lead up to listening to the song. This is Great Big Lie by Grown Ups on WBDY 99.5 FM.
The door creaks as you try to shut it gently. Oh, you don't want to wake them up. When you're sneaking out, you gotta get outside, get somewhere. You wanna change your state of mind. 'Cause street lights are pulling on, and you run through. You're on the move, and you never got too far, but you kept saying, oh, you kept saying, you've been up all night, you've been up all night, you're staring at the ceiling, and that door still creaks. You still try to shut it gently. Oh, you don't wanna wake them up. Now I'm the one. Oh, I tuck you in and I make sure. No, there's nothing under your bed. 'Cause nighttime it's creeping in, and I fight it off. I promise I'm not sure exactly how, but we could pretend. Yeah, we can pretend.
All right. Before we continue with grown-ups, I just want to let you know that you can support the Bundy Museum Community Radio Station by going to patreon.com/WBDY and donating, becoming a member, and you can listen to this show as well as other great shows on the station and help support the Bundy and help support live music. So, guys, we've been talking about the older stuff. What's coming down the pipe for your friends and fans?
More good stuff.
Yeah. Third album in the works.
Yes.
Plus a couple tunes.
Exciting.
Yes.
Yes.
So with Kit absconding to Florida, we basically were looking. We weren't sure kind of what direction the band was going to go. Oliver took the reins and started writing, and has just been coming nonstop with all of these fantastic songs. And it's kind of, I've already noticed this album is going to have a little bit more cohesion, just because it's kind of one person writing all of the songs, as opposed to the first two. But man, it's a lot of, this is also the first album that the horns, we have a 3-piece horn section, an aux percussion player, and a keyboard player. Wow. And it's the first album with Grown Ups where all of those members were included during the writing process. So these songs were very much written with those people in mind. And in that way, I think it kind of really stands alone as far as the three Grown Ups albums go.
Yeah, sounds like a rebirth of the band.
Yeah, it felt like it a little bit. Yeah, for sure.
Totally. Yeah, and I just highlight those two things. I think me bringing all the tracks and no Kit is going to make the voice feel more cohesive, and all the people in the band working on all the songs from the beginning in our last album, Great Big Lies, and actually in our first album, Nightlight 2, we had a few musicians come in and just like lay some parts down, which was beautiful and filled out the songs. But in this album, we've got everyone having been in Micha's studio, writing the songs together, coming up with their parts together, and like all of us interrogating each other's parts, workshopping,
like throwing ideas back and forth.
Sounds so good.
It was, like we kind of get a song written and to a place where we feel like, okay, we can make it through the song and it makes sense, it feels right. Now we play it out live, so we'll play it out live a bunch and then interrogate it some more. Specifically, there's a song that Oliver, Kit, and I played when we were a 3-piece that didn't end up on an album called I Got Mine. And it kind of got brought back into the mix with this most recent crop of songs. And it's kind of been orchestrated in a completely different way now with aux percussion and horns and keys. So it kind of has a whole new feel now. There's actually a random YouTube video, I think, out there.
That's true.
Of I Got Mine, of us performing I Got Mine. So that got brought back into the mix. And then we also had been working with and continue to be working with Alyssa Crosby, who's this amazing singer and songwriter. And so we have 2 songs that we wrote with her, and those will be recorded and mixed and released. I believe they're going to be released as singles, and then we'll release the rest of our material on the full album.
How many tracks are you going to have on the record?
Yes, we're going to have 9 tracks, and then there are 2 that Micha was just referencing from Alyssa that will be released separately. So we have 11 tracks coming out in the next 2 to 4 months, something like that.
Not chiseling anything.
Hopefully.
Yes. So Oliver, is this collection, did you have an idea about the lyrical content of it? Where's your headspace as far as the songs that they're about?
I'm just super proud of all the songs because of what we were just talking about, working on them with this whole squad of musicians. But lyrically, I think anyone could expect more of the same, but what I hope is a level up from our last couple of albums. I'm always drawn to introspection. So a few of the songs are people looking back on a moment of their life or a relationship that they had and wondering if they did the right thing. Maybe in some moments feeling a little bit more like self-righteous, like I think I did a good job, or in other moments feeling like I hope I did, or I'm lamenting something. I wonder if I did something, could have done something better.
Sounds very human.
Yeah.
you know, so
honestly,
things that we all feel.
Yeah, and I don't think I'm going for like we were saying at the start of this conversation, like we're not aiming for a thing. This is just what I'm drawn to talking about and singing about. But I get that from people sometimes, especially if I'm playing songs stripped down. I've heard people say to me a number of times, like, okay, wow, pretty raw lyrical content, or pretty intimate, or pretty sensitive. Yeah, I guess I'm drawn to that, being a human, being vulnerable around other
Love
people.
it.
Right?
Love it.
Ew, gross.
You have emotions and memories and loss. Gosh.
Where can people connect with you? And are you gigging? Are you playing it anywhere?
Yeah, we've kind of like taken a little lull as we step into the studio and record. We're currently recording the most recent album. But yeah, you can check us out at grownupsband.com. You can check us out on Instagram. You can hear our music on Spotify, iTunes, Bandcamp, all the streaming services. And yeah, we have a show, I believe in February, down in New Paltz.
Yes, so if anyone wants to come chill in the Hudson Valley, February 24th.
What club?
Snugs.
Yes.
Yes, you know Snugs?
I went to New Paltz.
Oh, me too.
I graduated from New Paltz.
Cool, me
yeah,
too.
Snugs. Yes.
Snugs is the spot.
Yes, definitely.
Ed Daly at Snugs. He's still managing there.
Divey.
Your Divey is hacked.
So the first time we played there this year, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
This was it not February? No. Summer, June.
Yeah. And I remember kind of the thing that I look for with dive bars is like the backyard hangout spot, like how like the vibe, and immediately like went beeline to the back, the fenced in spot. Was like, yeah, all right, this is a sweet spot.
Awesome.
I can get down here.
That's February 24th.
It is, and we don't have any other shows on the books, but after that,
Sure.
we'll announce some more when this album's coming out, and we'll be looking to share it and perform it for everybody.
Yep.
Well, I can't wait. Like talking about it gets me excited about it, and I'm sure that your friends and fans are going to be like really looking forward to the release.
Yes, yeah.
As we are, yeah.
Thank you so much, guys, for coming down. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks for
man.
giving us the time and space to chat about this work that we're doing. We so appreciate
Yeah.
it.
It's
very
wonderful.
much.
I want to keep it going. Well, thank you so much for joining us this time on Be Original. We will catch you next week with another band, musician, artist, producer from the area. I'm Kevin Oriol, DJ KO, yo, and I'll catch you next week. Peace.
Tossing when you're asleep, but you're a big strong man with grit and rage. But this is not the kind of problem that you solve in a day. Why are you so tight? Been holding so tight. You're like a cat on a curtain, claws digging.